While I do enjoy the cooler weather and the beautiful color changing of the season of fall, October is still brutal as a teacher. The fresh energy of the school year is gone. The new routines you set up in August and September are already starting to crack. The stack of grading feels like it's growing faster than you can touch it, and every morning you wake up a little more tired than the day before. This is what I call the mid-semester slump. It's not that you don't care anymore. It's that you're exhausted. And here's the kicker. Research explains why this happens. Psychologists like Roy Baumeister have studied something called decision fatigue. The more choices you make in a day, the worse your energy, focus, and willpower become. And teachers, we make over 1,500 micro decisions every single day. From do I stop this side conversation or should I change tomorrow's warm-up? So if you feel like you're dragging through October, it's not weakness, it's not a flaw, it's human psychology. And there's nothing wrong with you. But here's the good news. You don't need to complete overhaul to get out of the slump. What you need are small teacher-tested routines that steady your footing and get you back on track. And today I want to share 3 that changed everything for me. Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Kristen Masick, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher. Like many, my own slump always showed up on Sundays. I used to spend the entire weekend working, spreading papers across the floor while we were trying to spend quality time together watching TV, while I was juggling 3 to 9 preps at any given time. I really wasn't sure and couldn't remember a lot of times what I was teaching that following week because there was so much. And then I was so exhausted from the weekend that I would get very discouraged on Sunday night and then be completely drained and already dreading Monday. One October, after another Sunday lost to work, I decided to try something different. I blocked out a chunk of time on Tuesday instead. That night, I sat down and mapped out the following week. And you know what? It felt like magic. For the first time in years, I had a Sunday where I didn't touch schoolwork. I went for a walk. I had dinner with my husband. I actually felt rested going into Monday. The small shift, moving my planning routine to Tuesday, pulled me out of the slump. And it showed me that what we need to do in October isn't a brand new system. It's steady little routines that keep us moving when we don't have enough energy to put. So today we are going to talk about small, repeatable routines will carry you through the slump more than willpower or big overhauls. So the first strategy we're going to talk about is anchor tasks. Here's how it works. Instead of staring at a mountain of endless to-dos, you define just 2 or 3 wins for your day. These are the non-negotiables, things that if they're done, your day counts as successful. For me, my anchors usually looked like this. Today's lesson or lessons are ready. Tomorrow's copies are made, and my gradebook is up to date for at least 1 class. That's it. Everything else was bonus. And here's what I love. Research backs this up. Studies in organizational psychology show that when workers set clear must-do priorities, their stress perception drops, even when their workload stays heavy. That's because clarity is powerful. So if you're in the slump, try this. Write your 2 or 3 anchors on a sticky note at the start of the day. Finish them first. Everything else is bonus. And if you're thinking, but there's always more, you're right. There is always more. But anchors are about defining enough. Enough is what keeps you sane. The second routine that saves me in October is theme days. Instead of sprinkling planning, grading, and emails across every planning or prep block, I batch them. Each day has a theme. For example, Tuesday, lesson planning. Wednesday, grading. Thursday, making copies. This stops me from switching gears 20 times a day. I used to sit down during my prep period with the best of intentions, and unfortunately, I would find myself distracted all the time. So I would open up and want to start grading. Maybe I even had a stack of papers or a basket that I brought from the back of the room with the intentions of grading it, but then I pulled up the SIS system and got distracted by emails. So at the end of 45 minutes, I had nothing finished, just brain mush. When I switched to theme days, everything changed. On Tuesdays, I'd just plan for the week, nothing else. And you know what? I actually finished getting those plans prepared in one sitting. A teacher I coach does lab Mondays for her science preps. She preps every lab for the week on Monday and never scrambles midweek. That one theme day gave her hours back. Now, this concept can also work with how you structure your classes. So, same idea that planning for labs on Monday, well, maybe every Monday is a lab, so that in your mind, you know this is what's happening on this day of the week, and makes it super repeatable and lessens that decision fatigue. Studies show task switching is one of the biggest drains on productivity. UC Irvine researchers found that after an interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully refocus. That's why batching saves so much energy. You stop wasting time refocusing. And if you're thinking, what if something urgent pops up? Sure, there will always be exceptions. But if you stick to your themes 80% of the time, you'll feel the difference. The third routine is my favorite. Finish something on purpose. The slump thrives on half-finished tasks. Half-graded stacks, half-planned lessons, half-written emails is death by 1,000 open tabs. So here's the challenge. At least once a day, choose one thing to finish fully. For me, this started when I decided to fully plan just one class's lessons for the week during my prep period. Instead of bouncing between 3 classes, I planned one all the way through. The relief I felt was incredible. I had something completely done instead of 3 things half done. Now, the other great thing is that once I had one class fully done, if you've been around for any amount of time and you've listened to some of my past episodes, you'll know that I love to repurpose. So once I had already finished that one class, then I could look at my other classes when I was doing any of the other planning and see, were there things that I could still borrow, just repurpose from what I had already completely planned for that first class. Neuroscience research shows that finishing a task triggers a dopamine release in the brain. Dopamine is the motivation chemical. It fuels momentum. That's why finishing one thing feels so much better than juggling 10 unfinished ones. And if you're thinking, but my list is endless, I get it. Mine was too, and on a lot of days. It still is. But momentum beats misery. One finished thing carries you further than 10 half-done ones. So here's what I want you to take away. The slump is real, but it's not permanent. And it doesn't mean you're failing. It means your brain has been making thousands of decisions every day for 2 straight months. That's not sustainable. But small routines can carry you when your energy can't. Anchor tasks, theme days, finish something on purpose. These aren't fancy, these aren't flashy, but they will steady your footing when October wants to knock you over. So if you're dragging right now, give yourself permission to keep it simple. You don't need reinvention. You just need a few steady routines. Because you don't have to stay stuck in the slump. You can get back on track. Until next week.